Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, we've mentioned before the plans by the SNP to bring in a supermarket tax that will lead to the increase in the cost to you of your shopping should you shop in Scotland. They're saying it's for health reasons. Oh yes, that old chestnut, where they're only taxing supermarkets that sell wine, beers and whatever, alcohol and cigarettes. But of course, the supermarkets won't be putting the price onto them. Indeed, they're disenfranchised from increasing the price of alcohol. And I will explain why that in the main body of the video. But it will mean that prices which are already high, and you may already be struggling to put food on the table for your family, and you'll struggle even harder as that food increases in price to cover the SNP's shopping tax. It's a bad idea. Consumer groups are against it, and the retail industry is against it, and anyone with half a brain is against it. But let's take a look to see why it's such a bad idea and why so many people are saying, for God's sake, no, enough is enough. Here goes. Right, before we get into it, can I ask those of you who are regular viewers who have yet to subscribe, or any new viewers who are yet to subscribe, to please do so. We are political. We get pushed down because of the algorithm. The only way we can grow is sideways, and that is with you hitting the subscribe button and liking the videos. That really helps as well. So do hit the like and definitely subscribe. And if you're a regular subscriber, a regular viewer who is subscribed, do please check you're still subscribed, because YouTube do that shady thing of sometimes unsubscribing. So thank you. Let's get that one out of the way. That's done. Now, SNP under growing pressure to axe their cash grab tax on shops, which threatens the already under pressure retail sector. They want to put this cash grab on, this tax on supermarkets. Now, they're saying it's under the auspices and guises of health, because, they're only going to do it for the shops that sell alcohol and tobacco. But that's all of them, really, isn't it? But, of course, the thing is, they're not taxing alcohol and tobacco. They're taxing the supermarket. And so let's say someone like, for example, a Sainsbury's will say, okay, right, let's say we've got to put 300,000 a year tax on this supermarket. So what they'll do is they'll put a penny on, and they stick tuppence on that all across the school. They'll put the money, and they just put that price on. And they build that in. They know what they turn around. They know what they sell in a year, and they average it, and they'll put it round. But what they'll do is they say, well, we need to do this to make 300,000. They'll put a little bit more on. They'll make 500,000. They can still blame the government. Say, well, yeah, no. But they're making an extra 200,000 per store. But they're blaming the government. It's the government's fault. When you sit there and see the price going up, well, we have this, and they put the notice up saying, because of the Scottish government's tax, we've had to increase. That means we've had to put our prices up. So you're aware, as far as it goes, that the SNP are taxing your shopping. So whatever it costs you to put the food on your table has just gone up. But the supermarkets are benefiting, of course, because they're putting that extra penny everywhere. They're making all that little bit extra, 200,000. The government's making money. Boom, boom, boom. But they're not taxing. They're taxing everything in that store, but they're not taxing alcohol. And the reason is, if you buy a bottle of wine as a supermarket, and you pay, say, £2 for it, and you're going to sell it for £5 to make that amount of profit, but the government say, oh, your minimum price, you've got to sell it for £7. Well, that's an extra £2 profit for you. So you buy it for £2, and instead of making £3 profit, you're making £5 profit, because you've got to sell it for that minimum price. So it's even more profit for you. So why would you put the tax on that? Because if you put the tax on the wine, that's tax. You can't then put the wine price up because it's coming out of your pure profit. So you leave the price at £7, but that extra cost is going on the wine. That's cutting your profit. No. We'll put a penny on everything else, make everything else expensive, and we'll keep making lots of money on the wine. It's disincentivized rather, from putting the tax onto the actual reason that they're saying they want to tax the stores. It's crazy. But this is what happens when you get people with very low IQs, people who are very stupid, people who do not understand what the real world is like, and people who are called Shona Robinson making decisions. They are too stupid to understand even basic concepts. Anyway, getting into it. The Scottish Government is looking at plans to tax shops for selling alcohol and tobacco, with the anti-business Scottish Greens taking credit for it. But retailers have urged them to reconsider due to the added financial burden on stores. Well, this added financial burden will be offset, as I say, by putting the prices up. The Scottish Government is under growing pressure to axe these plans for a cash grab on grocery stores, which could threaten the already under pressure retail sector. SNP ministers are considering a business rate surtax on shops which sell alcohol or tobacco. This has been welcomed by the likes of the anti-business Scottish Greens, who claim they came up with the idea following budget negotiations with their coalition partners. So the idea by the Greens is that they're going to make it more expensive and harder for you to feed your family. And the SNP are going along with this. So if you're one of those SNP voters and you've got kids and you think you're struggling now, wait till you're struggling a bit more. Wait till your kids are going actually hungry, and then think, yes, at least my kids may be starving, but it's important that we have independence. Good choice. Anyway, this has been welcomed by the likes of that. Anyway, sorry, get back. They're saying a public health levy on alcohol retailers could do a lot of good and would help us make a big difference by delivering vital funds for frontline services and the NHS. Well, we know that's bullshit, because they've got plenty of funds now that they could spend on frontline services and the NHS, and they are choosing it to serve it on embassies, and they're about to expand that. And we're the only sector in the budget that received a real terms increase was the independents. You know that claim is a load of dingo's kidneys. It's led to accusations that Humza Yousaf is failing to live up to his boast that the Premiership has brought in a new deal, that his Premiership has brought in a new deal for businesses. Well, he's damaging businesses. He has this thing about lifting children out of poverty, and he's doing that by making food more expensive. Great. Okay. Tell me, Humza, how the hell's that working? You want to lift children out of poverty, and you're doing that by making the weekly shop more expensive. It's a level of genius I have never encountered before. Honestly, these guys, they need to be... Give them the Nobel Prize in economics, because they've come up with a whole new way of sorting problems out by making things seem far worse and then lying about it. Anyway, it's angered retailers who already had to fend off the COVID pandemic as well as the cost of living crisis, and they warned that stores will need to raise $1 billion in sales each year to cover the cost. And that comes off the back of failed investment in the doomed deposit return scheme. So these stores have already had to fork out all that money for the DRS. And now Humza's hitting them with £1 billion a year tax. Good luck. Absolutely. There's only one place that money can come from. Prices going up in Scotland. Now, what that means is anyone who lives close to the borders in the south, they'll be across that border, won't they? They'll be going to the Morrisons and the Co-op and not the Co-op, that's expensive, but the Morrisons, the Asdas and whatever, south of the border, filling up and doing it and going back up. Meanwhile, those stores in the lower part of Scotland, you know, you got a big Tesco there and a big Sainsbury's there and whatever, boom, they are going to go out. They're going to go out of business because the cost by driving 5-6 miles down the road into England, you probably save yourself 30 quid on a week's shop. More if you buy a couple of bottles of alcohol. What's not to think about? Anyway, the tax proposals are similar to the public health supplement, which was introduced in 2012 and raised $95 million before it ended in 2015. However, it was claimed that this money would go towards health-related schemes, but it didn't. It was not related. It did not go on a single health-related scheme. Shock news. Stand back, hold yourself, gird your loins. The SNP lied. I know. Shocking. Who'd have thought it? Anyway, a study published by the Millbank Quarterly Journal of Health Policy said our analysis suggests that the supplement was not designed in such a way as to stimulate behavioural change among the retailers, and that the revenues were not ring-fenced for health, but used to address a gap in the Scottish Government's spending review proposals. And do you think this, which is coming in, because it's booze and alcohol, is coming in under the guise of health, is going to be spent on anything other than independence? No, neither do I. What a load of old crap. They are going to make your weekly shop way more expensive. They're going to do nothing but make the profits of the supermarket slightly bigger. They're going to raise money to fulfill their wet dreams of independence, which will never happen. Meanwhile, health is being ignored. The NHS is collapsing. and especially the SNP voters, will watch as their children go increasingly hungry because food will be so expensive and relatively far more expensive than in England, and at the same time, they're taxing your income more. Welcome to the wonderful world of starvation, green SNP style. Good choice, Scotland. Good choice. Keep voting them in. See how bad it's going to get. I'll come up. I'm pretty sure that one day the day will come when all those morons who vote for the SNP watch as their very thin, scrawny children, hungry, holding their stomachs, the school's closed, the hospital broken, you can't get a doctor. And they'll sit there one day and they'll look at the wasteland around them. And the sudden dawning realisation in their head will be, do you know, I did this. I caused this because I'm so stupid. I keep voting for the SNP. People kept telling me what was happening. I could see what was happening with my own eyes, but I ignored it because I knew that if I admitted I was wrong, I'd feel stupid. And now I look and I see what I have done. And one day that will be the day, but it won't be today. It won't be tomorrow. It will be, by the time that happens, it will be far too late. And Scotland will be a desolate post-nuclear wasteland filled with the rotting corpses of industry, with slovenly gangs of criminals wandering around, taking what they want, doing what they want. It will be a failed state. And those currently in power will be sitting thousands of miles away on a beach with the billions they've stolen in a non-extradition country, sipping their pina coladas and laughing their asses off. Meanwhile, you have to live with it. It's sheer stupidity, isn't it? Anyway, thank you very much. Do please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like. I will now go and got to make a cup of tea. It's been a long day. I've got one more to do. But I'm just going to thank you all very much for watching this. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will see you later. Bye.